a whole lot of personality, super catchy chorus, a very relatable experience for anyone that's in a relationship with a woman, especially a woman that is very put together. It takes a lot of time to do that, but it can be very, very infuriating if you're trying to get somewhere on time. So I haven't heard a song about that experience, so it was nice to hear that encapsulated in a song by Tyler. I'll probably get put in the doghouse, but I'm probably gonna blast that next time it's time to go somewhere. but it'll probably be worth it. So I'll probably roll a dice on that one. But yeah.
Let me put you on game.
Yeah, but let's get into our last topic. Let's move out of basketball and move into music, and let's discuss the album that we have up in the queue. The album is going to be I Know NIGO by NIGO. NIGO is a fashion designer who is very, very close with Pharell and his whole camp, who it's been a while since it's been more, I think a decade since he's released an album. So he's very sporadic in his releases. He seems like a guy that's a little bit more secretive. So I hadn't heard of him prior to this project, but there's a lot of big names on here. So I think we were intrigued by the fact that he just has all these heavy hitters on here. And I guess it's probably just friends that he's built up throughout his years in the industry. As a designer, I'm sure these guys have worn some of his clothes. So it's an interesting project, I think, to discuss overall. How did you feel about the project sonically, and how did you feel about it overall?
Yeah, this is a project that I didn't see coming, obviously, because this guy's kind of a ghost that floats in the wind and is behind some of the biggest urban fashion brands out right now in Billionaire Boys Club, as well as a Bathing Ape. Those are two brands that I could not afford in my high school days because they were just like
Never. Too expensive.
$99 for a T-shirt, that a white T-shirt that just says Billionaire Boys Club. So definitely above my price bracket in 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. So it was interesting to see that
above my price bracket now.
That's a fact. But it's nice to see his foray into the music industry, and I'm guessing because I guess he's kind of in the DJ Khaled boat where they say he's a producer, but I don't know. To me, he's probably more of a financier of these projects,
like a curator.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see that he has some Japanese influence on this project, which was really cool to see in the Teriyaki Boys. And just when you look up and down this track listing, it's just great artists. A few dull moments here and there, but it was really exciting. Beats, banger beats, excellent production that was led by Pharell, the Neptunes, NIGO himself, as well as others. So sonically, it was really cool. And yeah, I want to get into this track by track breakdown, brother.
Yeah, for sure. I think it starts out really, really strong. Lost and Found freestyle was dope. I love the progression of the beat from kind of like, I guess you want to say like classic crunk to this more triumphant feel with the horns. ASAP, I think, is one of the most naturally charismatic rappers in the game. And I think he definitely shows that with his bars. And then they changed the beat up for Tyler at the end, and he has some dope bars there as well. He's flowing really well. It's a very 2006 track to me, I think. It's definitely a throwback. And that led into Arya, which is ASAP on it. It's a cool shout out to a show that we once loved very much that shall not be named because it was very unceremonious end. But I love the Michael Myers style piano. That's what it made me think of on that track.
Yeah,
it made me think about if that was intentional because Michael Myers and Arya were both killers. So I don't know if that's kind of what he was going for there. But the bars about adding dudes to his list were really dope as well. Punch Bowl with a Eclipse reunion that was much needed. Malice has added a no to the front of his name, so he's now No Malice. Did he change it back?
Yeah,
he's back.
No. Yeah, no, it's No Malice. It's No Malice. I thought you were gonna. Okay. I didn't realize. I didn't catch the end of your sentence, but yeah, No Malice. Continue.
Okay.
Continue.
I thought he went back and he was back on his demon time or something like that. His verse was dope though. It sounded like Malice, but yeah, No Malice. It was cool to see the brothers reuniting. They're one of I think both of our favorite groups in hip hop history. They're dope. Cool to see the reunion. I love the instrumental there. But I think this is where the album kind of is at its highest for me in terms of the tracks. But I'll get into where I have my issues with the project more so after this stretch. But what do you think about the first three tracks?
Great energy. I love the Lil Jon vocal sample in the background of Lost and Found Freestyle 2019, the classic ASAP Rocky switching up his voice that he's known for, in terms of like stretching it out and making it lower pitched. But you can tell that the verse has aged a little bit because of that line, no bun in the oven or babies in the stroller. That's definitely soon to change.
That's definitely changed. Yeah, I noticed. I thought that was weird.
Yeah, so like, yeah, they clearly recorded this song 3 years ago, and you can also tell that by Tyler Creator's energy on the song, because I feel like he's channeling the Flower Boy and energy that he had all those years back, you know, with his and I love the way he uses the abrasiveness of his voice and it really matched like the ominous instrumental on his track. It sounded like he was one of the bad guys entering the room in like a Pixar movie. That's what I kept imagining, you know, because like he's so raw with it, but like he's also kind of goofy. So it gives you some animation vibes in my eyes. But moving on into Arya, you know, because I'm gonna pronounce it like I'm in the GOT universe. It was really bright and ominous piano keys, and if you look on the production listing, they did actually sample Halloween, some of the score from Halloween. So you could tell that. And then it gave me feelings of Senorita by Vince Staples. So I liked, you know, obviously like you, I like the nod to GOT and, you know, the mentions of the mentions of it in the hook. But yeah, you know, this is ASAP in album mode, and I want an ASAP project. You know, he's not the best artist, but I've always loved what he brings to the table with his charisma and his energy. So, you know, and then I got the similar feelings that you had on Punch Bowl. I like the subtly used sample from Scarface. You know, it kind of mirrors that score after Tony gets shot in the back and you see the world is yours as the hitman is walking away, that very ominous tune. But it was dope to see the clips back together, man. I was really happy about that. I like the bar by No Malice where he says, "You can't compare us to such and such as rapping in couplets don't do it justice," as he's kind of talking about, in my eyes, just how, you know, other rappers who talk about slinging, they don't do it to the same level of clips, and they might rap in couplets, but they not us. But then, yeah, to me, you get into another stretch of the album that I thought continued some of this energy, especially production and sonically. Functional Addict, I'm gonna admit, it threw me the hell off when I first listened to it, because I thought that, like, Pharell, how could you make a song where you don't rap on beat? I was so confused. You know, it threw me off in the same way that Range Brothers threw me off the first time, where like I don't get what's going on with the flow and the cadence to the beat. But then as I kept listening to it, those warpy synth horns really permeate the song and become very infectious. It's definitely an earworm, like you like to say. And don't let Pharrell fool you, because he got some bars when he said gold on my teeth because it matches my larynx. I'm like, okay, you know, not too many people know what a larynx is, but that's your vocal box. And I like how he's basically saying that every time he speaks, that's a gold record. I'm like, that's hard, clever. Yeah. And then Gunna, I thought he had a really enjoyable verse. I thought it was better than anything that he had off of his album earlier this year. So I was really excited to just hear him rap well. I actually thought he was Young Thug for a second. So that's probably why I enjoyed it so much in the beginning. And the song overall, the concept, I feel like is going to be a part of Rue's theme songs and one of her introduction songs in the 3rd season of Euphoria. So watch out for that bold prediction.
I'll have to log that in my memory.
Yeah. But then going into Want It Bad, I mean, Kid Cudi, like, come on. He struck all the proper notes on this track. I fully understand the appeal here. He mumbles a lot, so it kind of throws me off listening to him. But and that's probably why I've never really connected with him. But when you understand his lyrics and you kind of get the vibe that he's going for with the EDM and the house stuff, I dug it. I thought he did well on this track. And then moving into More Tonight, I thought this was actually a reggaeton song, but it turns out it's the Japanese band Teriyaki Boys, and I didn't really get it at first, but the vibe here, the way that they were able to capture such charisma on the hip hop, and the beat with the 808s and the chill hi-hats, the flow and energy was on point. So even though there was a language barrier, I actually enjoyed this song. So these last 3 tracks were pretty good for me. How about you?
Yeah, I disagree wholeheartedly. This is my least favorite stretch of the album. Functional Addict, I just thought it was okay, but it didn't offer the same highs as the previous tracks. Maybe I'm a Gunna hater, I don't know, but he just doesn't do it for me. I don't. I just, it's hard to describe, but he just doesn't do it for me. Like he doesn't light my fire in any kind of way as a listener. Like he's just there for the most part. I don't think he's bad, but it just it doesn't resonate with me. And then Want It Bad is it's a no, dog. It's a hard no.
Really?
You
Wow.
know me, I'm a huge Cudi fan. I was a huge Cudi fan since like '09. Like I've been in the game a long time. He's one of my favorite artists, but I don't like EDM Cudi, house music Cudi. Like it's not for me. I think he's better utilized doing a lot of different things. I love his sound, but it's not, this song itself doesn't work for me. It feels like a reach for the radio sonically. It feels like something you would hear, like you would hear in a club or on like a radio station that offers more EDM. But yeah, it's not for me. And then the choir at the end, I thought that probably would have been better used throughout. I like the last like 10 to 15 seconds of the song, but it's a shame that that wasn't kind of interspersed a little bit more throughout. But yeah, it just didn't do it for me. And then More Tonight, that sounded really, really basic. It sounded kind of really just too accessible and empty to me. It didn't really continue what I really enjoyed about the first part of the album and the last part of the album. Paper Plates, I think the instrumental on that is dope. It's really unique. I've never heard anything like that before. But I don't really care for Pharrell's chorus. I don't know why he chose to go that route with the high pitched paper place. Like it just really didn't, like I didn't get it. He sounded like the gingerbread man from Shrek to me. I don't know.
Oh snap.
Yeah, I like Ferg's first verse, but his second one was pretty like lackluster to me. I could have did without it. But then it gets into Hear Me Clearly, and then it picks right back up for me. I think that song is hard. Like I know you probably expect me to continue my hating for, but no, I think the album definitely takes a turn towards being better for me, a lot better. It's hard, booming bass, and I think it's Pusha at his best. Actually says extracurricular art buyer, 812 Rari driver, spent 6 just to make the roof Harry Potter. Kilogram Kickstarter, push a brick harder, left my elbow in the pot, a la Vince Carter. Like it was just like it's prime Push. He also says, see the difference between me and them. I moved to a different beat drum like EDM. This coke speaks to my soul like a medium. Like it's only like Push has a million different ways to flip bars about like selling and cooking up drugs, but it doesn't get old, as reprehensible as it is. But
like you remember that Wu-Tang name generator?
Yeah,
I think they should make one for cocaine, and I think Pusha T should curate it like a coke vernacular slang generator, just generated straight from his
bars,
his bars and his metaphors, because it's just A1. He keeps them coming.
It's 20 years of just elite bars about drugs, and he's never like repeated himself, it felt like. So I mean that's a testament to his creativity, but that gets into Remember with Pop Smoke. It's honestly one of my favorites. That vocal sample in the background is just super hard. I instantly added that to my workout playlist. It's super, super hard. I'm surprised people honestly have like Pop Smoke verses left, considering how short his career was, but I'm glad they were able to find one, because I think it was super, super dope. The only weird thing about it is the censorship on the back half, because they censor, I think, the word gun a couple times. I guess they're trying to clean up, unfortunately, how he passed. Maybe the family doesn't really want to put that message out there, but it just seemed like there were a lot of like censors on the back half that kind of made the verse a little disjointed. But overall, I thought the song was dope. Heavy with Lil Uzi Vert. This is a kind of a mixed bag for me too. I thought the instrumental was okay, but I don't really like Uzi over drill beats for some reason. It doesn't really work. But then it closes out with Come On Let's Go with Tyler the Creator. I love this one from Tyler. A whole lot of personality, super catchy chorus, a very relatable experience for anyone that's in a relationship with a woman, especially a woman that is very put together. It takes a lot of time to do that, but it can be very, very infuriating if you're trying to get somewhere on time. So I haven't heard a song about that experience, so it was nice to hear that. encapsulated in a song by Tyler. I'll probably get put in the doghouse, but I'm probably gonna blast that next time it's time to go somewhere. but it'll probably be worth it. So I'll probably roll a dice on that one. But yeah, I think it's a good close to the album, but the album overall for me came off a little bit uneven. But what do you think about that last chunk?
Yeah, I mean, Paper Plates, ASAP Ferg's, his verses were basically kept afloat by his ad libs because that was the only charisma coming off those verses. I dug Pharrell's hook and his performance. It wasn't his best, but I think he just tried to keep the energy going. Hear me clearly. I mean, what more can you say? It was extravagant, and I love Pusha when he's on his coke god mode, man. And then remember, it just really makes me sad because, Pop Smoke had so much potential. So to see that, like, some of his B verses that he decided not to put on a project, or maybe a verse that was actually buried, somewhere deep on one of his mixtapes, gets revived and gets put to such great use. And I would have loved to actually hear a second version of this song with the beat that is used on Heavy, because that's more of his style.
I thought
so
that too, yeah.
So it's interesting that they chose to put Lil Uzi on that drill beat, which I thought was a really good drill beat, but man, it just did not fit. It did not fit at all. And I have a hard time even looking at Lil Uzi Vert, forgive me, but all those piercings on the face is very jarring, man. I definitely be clutching my pearls when I see him on TV.
Turn into a 45-year-old white woman.
Like, well, I would never, you know what I mean? But the video was pretty fun just to see them with all the jewelry that they had on, and just the concept of the song talking about jewelry and how it being heavy and it weighing down your neck and all that, feels like I got a midget hanging on my necklace. I wish they could have used that sample at some point in the song, but overall, not a great song. But going back to Remember, I did want to have kind of a side conversation with you about whether or not Pop Smoke would have gotten more play and this level of notoriety had he been alive, because it seems like now the best producers want to use his music and reuse his music. You have Kanye West making a drill beat on Donda, and him being featured on Pop Smoke's posthumous album. So what are your thoughts on that? And do you feel like he would have gotten to this level had it not been for his untimely demise?
I think he would have gotten to this level eventually. I think his untimely passing kind of skyrocketed his fame, because it's kind of like, artists when they don't sell much during their not that he was selling, but how artists they sell very little when they're alive, and as soon as they die, their paintings or their art actually skyrockets in value, because they realize it's a limited quantity of it. So that's kind of what it's been like with his verses. They realize there's only so many verses to go around, so they're able to parlay that into more fame. But I think he was definitely on the rise, and he also had a sound that was accessible, but also could appeal to people that were more into underground or into rap that was a little less mainstream. So, and then of course he had one of the best voices, I think, in rap music, just the deep growl and the maybe like the whole thing that he had going on, like it was just all like his ad-libs were cool, like he just had a lot going for him. So I think he would have found his way to this level of fame eventually, especially considering how much he blew up in such a short time. I think with a couple more projects and a couple more big features, he already had like Quavo cosign and stuff like that, a 50 Cent cosign, so he was already on his way up. But passing away will definitely boost your profile for sure. So it happened in a very, very quick fashion. I think would have taken multiple years for him to get to that point.
Yeah, man. RIP Pop Smoke, and RIP to the Woo. But finishing with Come On Let's Go. This is a song that I found randomly, and the video that I found randomly, that I was hooked immediately, and I put you onto it. And now that I'm glad that we can kind of see the whole picture of what this project was able to culminate in with this song. So much energy that was built from probably the Call Me If You Get Lost, in terms of the synth bass that was laced into the instrumental. Tyler has production credits on the song, so I feel like it definitely came in that portion of the song. And like you said it really well. It just captures the feeling that everyone, especially guys, have had when it comes to the angst of waiting for your partner to be ready for a night out. It is some of the most annoying feelings, because parking is going to be a problem. Traffic is going to be a problem on Friday and Saturday nights, and your lady's still getting ready. So I appreciate Tyler putting that anthem out for the summer. It's definitely going to be a hot summer with everybody trying to be outside after this COVID hiatus. But overall, I actually dug the project pretty well. And so let's mention our best and favorite tracks.
What are we going for? 3?
Yeah, I think 3 is good.
Give me Come On, Let's Go, Remember, and Hear Me Clearly.
Nice 3. For me, I would say Functional Addict, Want It Bad, and Come On, Let's Go.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Oh wow. Okay. I mean,
yeah.
that is an interesting 3. I think you picked like 2 out of 3 songs that I really just don't like. So I was like caught off guard. But you know what? To each his own. So,
exactly.
I'm as a Cudi fan, I'm glad you like a Cudi song that much. So we'll take it. We'll take it any way we can get it. But how are you feeling about the album in terms of a rating perspective? Like if you had to recommend this to someone on a scale of hard pass to must listen, like what would you say?
So for me and my taste, I thought it was a banger of a collaboration compilation project that I would highly recommend. Definitely a few moments here and there that weren't the greatest, but overall at 32 minutes and 11 tracks, there's a lot of fire here, not too much fluff, and I really enjoy listening to it. There's a lot of songs here that I can go back to and listen to happily. I find myself like hearing this song, Want It Bad, and enjoying it, realizing that they brought back No Malice on Punch Bowl and really like digging that. I love the ASAP performances, as well as Come On Let's Go probably being one of my top songs of the year. So yeah, this is a highly recommended for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a step below and say give it a shot. I think there's a lot to like about this album. I think it pushes a lot of buttons for me, but I also think that it falls short in a couple different areas, especially that middle portion. Like it just gets really uneven for me, and I'm not really a fan of the songs. But I can see why you would say highly recommend, because you are a fan of a lot of the songs that I'm not a fan of. So, I mean, to each his own. That's what music is for. Music is very, very subjective, and it's very, very opinion based upon what your tastes are. So for me, it's just more so I would just say like I think there is something that just about everyone that's a fan of this style of music can enjoy on here. So I would just say give it a shot. But I wouldn't. It's not a ringing endorsement for me. I wouldn't highly recommend it. But yeah, that's as far as I would go. But let us know in the comments what you think about the NIGO album. Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy the features? Was it a bit unexpected for you like it was for us? And how did you feel? Let us know in the comments and join the conversation.